Walk through the bustling streets of Seoul, and it's only a matter of time before you spot a store window or billboard covered with a photo of a professional model. Turn on a TV and flip through, a large portion of airtime is filled with thin, flawless-looking celebrities on shows and in commercials. Such perfectly presented, photoshopped, and edited content has become mainstream, so it's no surprise an average Korean woman would point to these as the ideal.
Big hips and tight waistline. A woman with good curves.
All this shows just how much emphasis the Korean society has on one's appearance, and local experts say this is one of the main factors young girls are under social pressure to conform to idealized body standards, which is considered more serious for Koreans compared to other nationalities. Recent OECD data shows that obesity rates among Korean children have been on a steady rise. Big rate gap between the genders. The rate among Korean boys aged between 5 and 17 was around 26% in 2013. This is double the rate for Korean girls at 14%, which was way below the OECD average.
Children, teens, and their parents are heavily affected by the prevalence of skinny models and celebrities in mass media. The standard of beauty is harsher for women than men, which is why society is more lenient towards overweight boys than girls.
The doctor warns extreme dieting at an early age can cause major health risks, including osteoporosis, anemia, and menstrual irregularity. So to have a healthy diet, it's important to exercise daily and consume enough proteins, vitamins, and minerals, while also cutting down on carbohydrate intake. Kim Ji-yeon, Arirang News.
Also, a report from the OECD, the International Economic Organization has slashed Korea's growth outlook for this year to 2.7%, down 0.3 percentage points from its forecast back in June. The Paris-based group on Monday cited sluggish private spending due to the MERS outbreak. Now, here in this country, the National Assembly is finally back on track this Monday after main opposition, New Politics Alliance for Democracy, boycotted the parliament over the government's decision to push ahead with state-authored history textbooks. But possibilities of further bipartisan conflicts still do remain. Our parliamentary correspondent Park Ji-won joins us from the National Assembly. Now, Ji-won, which committees were the first ones back to work?
Good evening, Kanyang. Several of the National Assembly's standing committees, as well as the Special Budget Committee, have resumed deliberations on pending bills and budget items this Monday. The Budget Committee in particular has a very busy schedule ahead, as it is facing an early December deadline to complete work on the government's budget for next year. The committee met just twice last week, and without the main opposition NPAD, since the Liberal Party boycotted them in protest over the government's move to reintroduce a state-issued history textbook for secondary schools. But they have returned to Parliament to fully assume their responsibilities and take up pressing legislation. The ruling Central Party welcomed the move to normalize Parliament.
We're facing a pile-up of current issues, including next year's budget and the passage of several economy and reform-related bills. We need to end wasteful debates on history education and focus on bipartisan cooperation to push policies.
The main opposition NPAD remains adamantly against the government's decision to bring back state-issued history textbooks, but now is taking a two-track approach. While the Liberal Party will cooperate on legislative duties, it plans to continue protesting the issue. And their concern and criticism continued on Monday.
The current administration is trying to enforce conformist history education on our children, but it is going to destroy.
Now, with growing signs, the Islamic State militant group was responsible for the recent crash of a Russian airliner in Egypt. Concerns are now shifting to its implications for other terrorist groups. Former CI Deputy Director Michael Morell said on a CBS program Sunday that it has become much more likely the Russian plane was brought down by a bomb following their analysis of intercepted conversations among senior IS members. He said the crash could inspire groups such as Al-Qaeda to conduct similar attacks in an effort not to be overshadowed by IS. Other US officials gave similar assessments over the weekend. Michael McCall, who is chairman of the US House Homeland Security Committee, said all indicators show IS planted a bomb on that airplane, killing all 224 people on board.
Thanks for starting your week with us. Hello and welcome to Business Daily. I'm Ijun in Seoul. We have plenty on our plate today, so let's get started by taking a look at today's highlights. More foreigners are snatching up Korean products directly from Korean websites, and this is a market projected to be worth billions of dollars. Korea ranks in the bottom tier when it comes to taking in migrants and refugees, despite projections that the country's working-age population is expected to start falling in 2017. But first, we begin with a new report that shows that a 1 percentage point drop in China's gross domestic product could drag down Korea's GDP by up to 0.6 percentage points. The Korea Development Institute says slowing growth in the world's second largest economy would damage Korea's exports and corporate profitability, directly cutting its growth rate by 0.2 percentage points. As China's growth has a direct impact on emerging economies and the global economy as a whole, the think tank projects that Korea may see additional losses of 0.2 to 0.4 percentage points from its current rate of expansion. Korea's top two chip manufacturers, Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix, ranking first and second in the world, continue their lead in the global DRAM market in the third quarter of this year. According to industry tracker DRAM Exchange, Samsung held on to first place with a 46.7% market share, followed by SK Hynix with 28%. U.S. firm Micron Technology followed at third with less than 20%. Combined, Samsung and SK Hynix took up nearly 75% of the global market, renewing their record as the largest market shareholders for the fifth consecutive quarter. But DRAM Exchange said the prolonged economic slump and falling demand for PC DRAMs might pose challenges for the Korean chip makers. In fact, the average contract price of mainstream 4GB DDR3 modules dropped by nearly half in October since the beginning of this year. Korea's largest conglomerate, Samsung Group's governance structure has been simplified through a series of mergers and asset sales. Market research firm Chaebol.com says the number of the group's cross-shareholding loops have fallen from 10 to 7. Cross-shareholding loops are made when firms are linked through equity investment or asset sales. It added that the recent merger of Samsung C&T and JL Industries helped solidify the group's governance structure. Now, watchers say Samsung C&T Corporation helps Samsung Electronics maintain control over the entire conglomerate. And this is significant as Samsung Electronics is the firm in which the controlling E family wields the most power. And for more on last week and this week's stock market action, we have economics reporter Choi Jin-suk from SBS CNBC joining us on the phone today.